Man.
Go ahead, you do your thing.
Thank you. What's up, Fight Fam, man? Welcome to Boxing Bros. This is episode. What episode is this?
This is episode 30.
Yep,
This is episode 30.
30.
All three of y'all.
Oh, 30.
Listen. You know what I'm saying? I'm Caden. I'm here with my co-hosts. I'll let them introduce themselves.
What's going on? This is Trail.
This is G.
This is Trill and Caden, apparently, today. Yeah, so the first topic we're going to discuss is Claressa Shields' victory over Ivana Habazin. It was a 10-round unanimous decision, and we're going to get everyone's thoughts before we dive into other things. Trill, what are your thoughts on that fight?
Listen, it was entertaining. Claressa did what
Get your choreography right, too. Man. What's going on?
I know. She did what she was supposed to do. Listen, she's the GWOAT. The GWOAT. That's what she calls herself. The GWOAT.
The GWOAT.
The GWOAT.
I thought she pronounced it as quote.
Quote.
Yeah, quote.
Greatest woman of all time.
Yeah, but how she said it was like quote. Like
the GWOAT.
It sounded like she said quote.
It's the GWOAT. You
But
gotta put
quote
that G
sounds
in
funny, but quote sounds better. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen.
It rolls off the tongue better.
She
Quote.
Ivana got a long-awaited butt whooping.
A delayed.
That's all it was.
A delayed butt whooping.
And Claressa, she did what she did. She went over there and she did what the GWOAT was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have you want to see her in there with better competition.
G.
Yeah, I was just watching Punishment, man. Like, it's a clear one-sided fight. Claressa just came in to damage this poor girl. You know, I wasn't really a fan of Claressa's intro. I'll be honest, man. This Wilder stuff got to stop, man. Like, Wilder done created a whole different beast. He created a whole different beast. Everybody thinking they're Mortal Kombat characters now, so... It's, I mean, hey, I guess it's like entertaining somewhat, but you know, yeah, that was like, to me, the highlight of the fight was probably her coming into the ring looking crazy. Yeah, because it was clearly so one-sided. It was just easy money for Claressa. So salute to Claressa Shields.
Yeah, and shout out to her because you know she really took some time with that choreography. You know what I'm saying? Getting it down, steps down.
She was watching every Beyonce video.
Yeah, we're gonna get this right. We're gonna do this right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Well, I like the intro, and I'll say I get why she was doing it. It adds another dimension, another element, and it speaks into what I was saying. She's becoming more well-rounded as an entertainer, and you even saw her having fun with boxing, and I think I like that. In addition to her intro, what you saw Andre Ward behind her. You saw Terrence Crawford behind her. You saw Shakur Stevenson behind her. You saw Anthony Durrell behind her, and they were holding her titles for her, and I think that was another cool thing. She was able to have fun, and she had the support of her fellow champions, her fellow men champions behind her, and they were engaged during the fight. At one point, she said she heard Andre Ward telling her, "Go to the body, sis. Go to the body, sis." And that's when she dropped Ivana Habazin. Apparently, immediately after that, she didn't hear him saying, "Continue to go to the body, sis," because I think she would have got her out of there if she would have just focused on the body a little bit more. But there's very little to complain about with Claressa Shields' performance. I thought she looked spectacular. She showed good hand speed. She showed a nice jab. She showed improvement. And she's come a long way from the T-Rex that was holding that gold medal and just real happy to be there. I think she realizes she's arrived and she has a responsibility to carry women's boxing, and she takes that very seriously. So with that being said, in the post-fight conference, Ivana Habazin said that Claressa Shields is a good boxer, but she doesn't really hit hard. She said Cecilia Brækhus hits harder than Claressa Shields. And she said that if they fought, especially at 147 pounds, she thinks that Cecilia Brækhus would beat Claressa Shields. What are your thoughts on that? True.
She just got beat up. And there's still a little bit of bad blood Ivana's she's gonna say whatever. But I do think that would be a good fight, even though Cecilia's getting much older now. And hey, if Claressa can go down, if they can make the fight. But I just think Ivana just needs to, let that go. You know what I'm saying? And go on with her life, because obviously she hits hard enough to put you down. So, and if she didn't hit that hard, then why didn't you?
Why were you holding so much?
Exactly. If she didn't hit so hard, then why you
love you down.
Why ain't you the winner? Why ain't you the winner of this fight if she didn't hit so hard? I mean, it was, I don't know. She was cut, she was bruised, she was battered, and then she looked. So she's just talking. She's just talking. I just think because she got to let go of the bad blood. I guess, she's still mad, but with the whole Brashear thing. But shout out to Brashear. I see he walked her out there. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't able to be in her corner, but he walked her out there, moral support. But Ivana just needs to let that go. If they can make that fight with Cecilia, make the fight. I don't think they're going to make the fight. I think she's going to ride off in the sunset. You know what I mean? Or probably cash out with Claressa.
You got to cash out, I feel like.
If Claressa,
you got to.
Yeah, she'll probably cash out with Claressa, but Carissa's going to have to lose some more weight. And, she's committed to do so.
G?
Yeah, that's my only thing is, drop it down to 147. I think she could do it, but, I think she had difficulty dropping down to, 154? So
what makes you think that, though?
Because she said it, like, because when the fight got canceled, she was like, I was going so hard just to lose the weight, and now the fight's being postponed. That was like her original.
She didn't say she had difficulty though. She just said she had to work so hard to lose the weight.
Yeah, I'll give you that then. But she's gonna have to work even harder now to come down to 147. She probably walks around like 170. You know what I'm saying? So to get all the way down to 147, that might be the deciding factor. But other than that, I'm like, no, I think Claressa still is gonna win, but the 147 thing is like, that's where I'm a little iffy on, to be honest. But I will say this though. What was her name? Habazin?
Habazin, yeah, Ivana Habazin. Man,
listen. To me, it just seems like a sore loser. And the reason why is because, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was bothered the whole Matador thing. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? Are you implying that Claressa Shields like a bull or something like that? You know what I'm saying? But then at the end of the fight, I'm looking at it like, you're a matador that just got bodied by that bull. You know what I mean? And so you got to just take your L, stay humble. You comparing her to other people and saying the other person's going to win when you just got beat up by her, you got rocked.
In fairness to Ivana Habazin, she got beat up by Cecilia Breakers too.
You know what I mean? To me, it's just fall back.
Hey, a fair exchange is not a robbery. That's all I'm saying.
Just, wait a little bit, and then later on when they interview you, then you could, disclose whatever.
In my opinion, if she can't speak on it, who can? Because she done got whooped by both of them. Okay, so if anyone can speak on it, it's her. It doesn't mean she's credible. It doesn't mean she doesn't have bias, but she can speak on it for sure. So for me, I think a number of things. One, I'll save that because I'll throw one more question out about Claressa Shields. But for me, I think Claressa Shields, know yourself, know your worth. You shouldn't have to go down to 147 to fight Cecilia Breakers. You are the GWOAT, whatever the hell, however the hell it's pronounced, that's you. You're the greatest woman of all time. So you bring something to the table. Cecilia Breakers brings something to the table as well. So you've already dropped down a number of weight classes. So it's not like you're forcing her to come up. She would have to come up one weight class to 154, which Claressa Shields has already dropped, I believe, 2 weight classes. So, I mean, at this point in time, it's not like Claressa Shields is looking for an unfair advantage in that fight. She's dropped a number of weight classes already. But Claressa Shields weighed in at 153 pounds. That's why I was saying to you, I don't know if she struggled because I remember Ivana Habazin eating some ice cream. And like Claressa Shields said, it was so sweet to drop her with a body shot after she ate that ice cream in my face. But she was eating ice cream or pudding, whatever it was at the weigh-in. Ivana Habazin suggesting that Claressa Shields had trouble making weight. But Claressa Shields weighed in at 153. Now here's the kicker. I didn't see her immediately run to drink some Pedialyte or immediately run to drink some Gatorade or whatever. She seemed like she was fine. Now, typically when someone drains themselves to make weight, as soon as the numbers come in on the scale, they're running, they're getting the Pedialyte, they're running, they're getting some form of nourishment to rehydrate their body. I didn't see Claressa Shields doing that. So make the fight at 152. Claressa Shields lose 1 more pound, and then Cecilia Brækhus can move up. It's the biggest fight that can be made at this point.
Listen, you even made a point about her even weighing in even less. That means she was walking around at a good weight. That means if she goes in here with the mindset of still staying in this shape, she can actually really make 147. She really could make 147. Now, here's the thing. If she makes 147, now, I have a class of fighters, right? When it comes to the females, and Claressa is just me. This is not the views of the boxing bros, but for the
Trill's views.
this is just Trill's views. This is
The views and opinions of Trill does not reflect.
Trill's views does not reflect the boxing bros as a whole.
There's I have my own Mount Rushmore of women fighters, right? And if I have to pick my top 4, it's Christy Martin, Layla Ali, Ann Wolfe, and Claressa Shields.
That's
right?
in order or no particular
No
order?
particular order.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if Claressa Shields, and not to dismiss Amanda Serrano's and Cecilia, I think that they're wonderful too. You know what I'm saying? They come after those ladies. But if Claressa Shields can go down to 147 and grab another title, that's 4 titles, right?
And not only that, she's being undisputed.
Yeah,
champion.
and it's not like she's going up to do it. She's coming down to do it. She has to be. You'll have to put her up as number 1 when you start putting.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying don't.
In
do
11 fights.
You feel what I'm saying? You would have to put her at number 1. You know what I'm saying? You would have to put her at number 1. You know what I'm saying? On those lists of ladies that I mentioned.
Yeah, I'm about to pull a Trill. And shout out to Belinda Laura Quinte, the one who fought Christy Martin and got robbed. I feel you. Women's boxing was exciting for me. When I was young, I remember they would throw Christy Martin on the undercard or some card, and she'd get busy. Christy Martin, like that was, people were like, yo, Christy's coming, I'm about to go watch that. And then there was Ann Wolfe, and Ann Wolfe used to get busy. Lucia Riker, she would get busy. Layla Ali and some of the great fighters like Trill mentioned. So women's boxing always was entertaining, but there just weren't that many women's fighters for Christy Martin, for like Lucia Riker, and Christy Martin. And then also the weight differential. So that's why you see someone like Claressa Shields going through multiple weight classes to make these fights, like fighting Christina Hammer, who reigned supreme for years. And so, like Trill said, if she could go down to 147 and win, that would just catapult her into another stratosphere. For me, forget women's fighters. This is like accomplishments, because you got someone who's putting all this wear and tear and tax on the body, and then they're talking about her fighting Jimenez. The name
Jimenez. No.
Jimenez.
Did I pronounce it wrong?
Jimenez. It's all on where the accent is. All right.
Don't quote whatever. You know what I'm saying?
No disrespect. I'd have to see it written and see where the action is and all those things. But respectfully, you're talking about someone who's willing to take on tough challenges, and you got to give her credit for that. So the last thing I'll say about Claressa Shields is
she's been elevated to the super champ.
is that a fact?
That's a
or
fact.
is that
She was elevated to the super champ. But finish your point. I'm gonna get back to that in a second.
Oh well,
I wanna get the particulars.
not just a super champ, but mainly we were tough on Claressa just because we're young adults and we've been her age before, and the decision that cost her and that almost cost her this fight. Basically, we felt like she should have made a better choice with her brother and whatnot. And so Trill said he was going to wait till after this fight to say whether or not he feels that she redeemed herself with this performance. Do you feel like Claressa Shields redeemed herself?
I believe that Claressa Shields definitely redeemed herself, and I think it was the WBO has declared Claressa Shields the super champion. That's what it was, the WBO.
I don't even know what that means.
I was just about to ask her.
I don't know what it means, but I just know.
Does it mean she's the real champion?
I mean,
Everyone
hey,
knows about it?
listen. All I know is they're putting her in the class with the Canelos.
I don't think that's the same thing though.
Or because they're super champions.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I would have to look it up.
What's his name? That Lomachenko. Hey, listen, if they gonna make Lomachenko a super champion, they better make her a super champion.
Nah, Loma is a franchise
champion.
Yeah, so what's
That's
the
WBO is a
franchise?
different.
Listen, then
Or
Claressa
is it the
Shields.
same thing?
Listen, Claressa Shields needs to lobby to be the franchise.
We're not
champion.
talking about Lomachenko and Claressa Shields in the same class because Claressa Shields is undefeated. For real.
Well, who do y'all think will win that fight though? Jimenez versus Claressa Shields. If they do it at, let's say, I don't know, like 160.
We're going to save that for the podcast. Everyone tune into the Boxing Bros podcast where we dive into certain topics and we get into it in ways we can't get into it on the camera. So please tune into the podcast on all streaming platforms. But do you feel like Claressa Shields redeemed herself after the incident that took place with her brother and Brashear?
Yeah, and the reason why I say yes is because it's her demeanor that changed also. She's viewing boxing in a more positive manner, she's bringing more like positivity to the sport, and I think that's good. And that's always a good quality when it comes to redeeming yourself. You know what I mean? Like she's smiling more, she's having more fun, she's making boxing entertaining. You know, like that's what it needs. You know, and so it's already a violent sport. So sometimes just to take that element of I guess the barbarism out of it and just making it more a classy sport. I think she's doing that, and so I think she's realizing this is what I need to do to become a household name. So yeah, I think she's redeemed herself.
Just want to say Big Mo's in the building. Shout out to Big Mo.
Hey.
That's why you saw Trill. Go let my man Big Mo in on the set.
I had to do the dash. Excuse me. I'm sorry, everybody. I had to do the dash.
He didn't just get up because he was upset.
I was mad. I was mad that y'all was talking about Claressa Shields not being a franchise champion. I was disgusted.
Nah, truthfully, I think she redeemed herself. And here's where Claressa Shields redeemed herself for me. In two areas. One, at the end of the fight, she went over to Ivana Habazin to congratulate her and to bury the hatchet. And Habazin seemed really standoffish and kind of, I hate when people do that. If there's beef, right, and it's a real beef and it's like that, then it's like that. But if someone's coming to say good fight, you can at least say good fight. You don't got to hang with the person. You ain't got to kick it with the person. Hell, I've seen Deontay Wilder and Dominic Brazil say good fight.
Absolutely.
Like, come on, man. Like, you can't say good fight to someone.
Hey, Tony Harrison and
Charlo, exactly. When it's bad blood, it's bad blood. But you got to respect someone who's went in the ring and did what they had to do with you. You got to at least shake hands and be like, all right, from this point on, it's over with. I don't like you.
Yeah,
But from this point, the bad blood is done. Ivana Habazin didn't do it, but Claressa Shields did go over there to do it, even after all the bad blood, and I respect that. But there was a moment on Claressa Shields' Instagram, and I like following Claressa Shields because she's funny to me. She just has like no filter. She gets excited and says what she has to say, where they laid out all her belts on a table.
Belts on belts on belts.
Yeah, they laid out all her belts on the table. and she looked at it, and she tried to move, and she couldn't move, and then she just started crying. And like, she didn't want to cry, you can tell. Like, she wanted to be like hard and she wanted to be tough, but she couldn't help it, and she just started crying. And then her boyfriend went over there to hug her. And to me, that's a real moment. That's a moment where she realized, like, yo, I really accomplished all this. And like, it just hit her. Like, I really just did that. Like, I really won all these belts. I'm really that kid from Flint, the place with the dirty water, the person who nobody really cared about, who fought in the Olympics, won 2 gold medals, and people talked about my hair more than my accomplishments, made fun of my teeth more than they gave me credit for what I did in the ring. And now I have all the belts. I got Terrence Crawford in my locker room. I got Andre Ward in my Crawford room. I got all this love. I'm the face of women's boxing. I think it all just hit her. And so that's the Claressa Shields that I like to see. And so for that reason, it's all square with me. Good job. And going forward, I'm on the team.
Please like and subscribe and check us out on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And also you can check out our podcast on all major streaming networks and platforms. It's the Boxing Bros.
And you keep trying to come over in my space.
I know. It's better shows over here with the Boxing Bros. I'm gonna work on it.
2020 progression.